Bonjour, I'm Lu. I draw in my books, and in this video I'm going to answer all of your questions about that while drawing in my book. Welcome to Extra Cozy DIY, a YouTube channel where, as you guessed it, we create all sorts of cozy DIYs. And if that sounds appealing to you, feel free to subscribe and become a part of the Extra Cozy family. Let's start with our first question. The drawings that you do, are they related to the story of the book or is it just random? So, the drawings I do in my books are always related to the story. For example, on the page I'm illustrating now, they talk about a video of a witch called @Mikamoon on the internet, in which she's showing how to make the perfect potion for a wounded heart. So I drew just that. They also said that we can see the witch in question in the video, but I prefer not to draw people and leave that to the imagination, so I imagined she had guts in her video where we could see a bird's eye view of her cauldron, and I drew that instead. I don't give myself many rules when it comes to those drawings, but the no people rule is one of them. Though sometimes I can't resist drawing some scenes where we can see people, like this one where the three older Bridgerton brothers come to pay a little visit to Daphne's husband, but I never draw their faces. Well, except for that one time, but I'm going to talk about that a bit later when I talk about regrets. Okay, next question is, how do you choose what you will draw on the pages? Is it something that's on the specific page or chapter, or maybe the overall vibe you are getting from the part of the story? Thank you. Well, thank you for the question. And like I said, I always draw things related to the story, and up until now, it has always been about a specific moment or element. And I try to place my drawings on the page that is most related to. So if I'm drawing a scene that goes over more than one page, I try to choose the one that fits it best. And sometimes I draw on double pages, like for those oranges, for example. Also, if the drawing might be too big of a spoiler, I try to draw it on the next page if it still fits, like for this gun, for example, when Anthony duels Simon. So when someone else reads it, or I do in the future, I'll still get the surprise. Okay, the next question is really related to that one. So it's, how do you get ideas? Shout out. Well, shout out to you. I don't know if that's enough for you. So I get my ideas simply by reading. I started by forcing myself to imagine drawings when I was reading, but now it really comes naturally. So I don't really know how to answer that question theoretically enough. But basically the books give me the ideas. So for example, when the book says that a man dove naked into a lake, I just draw a naked man diving. Sometimes I realize it's been too long since I marked a page down for a drawing, so I start to kind of force myself a little bit. But if nothing comes, that's no problem. It is supposed to be fun and not stressful, so I don't pressure myself when it comes to those drawings. So when I read my books, I try to always have a pencil on me. So when I come across a passage I want to illustrate, I write down the idea on the page and then write down the page number on one of the first pages of the book. And then I come back to it later and draw. That way I don't have to stop reading every time I have a drawing idea. I also really love to listen to my books with audiobooks, and I always, I know I'm weird like that, but I also have the physical book, and when I come across a passage I really want to illustrate, I just screenshot my phone and write down the idea, and then I can come back to my book after and find where was the passage. It's actually how I did for this book I'm illustrating now. I listen to it and I just screenshot every moment and write down on the screenshot my idea, and that's it. Okay, the next question is actually multiple questions. So, when did you start drawing in your books and why did you continue to do it? Are there any book you wouldn't draw in or illustrate at all? What are your favorite books that you like to illustrate in? Are you able to draw without getting in the way of the story? And which book have you drawn the most in? So I started in March 2021 in my Bridgerton books. Those tulips were the first thing I drew in a book. I started because I wanted to practice drawing things I didn't use to draw, and I couldn't find any drawing prompts I liked. At the time, I was painting my Bridgerton books covers because I didn't really like the original. The problem was that I didn't like the ones I did either. Not that they were ugly per se, but they felt just too DIY for my liking. So to me, there was nothing I could do to make it worse. So I thought, why not use that book as a drawing prompt, and I loved the results. Then I did another one the next day and I liked it as well. So after that, I started drawing in my books every day for a while. Since then, I redid my covers and I am in love with those books. I don't think there are books I wouldn't draw in. Even serious business book might be a fun challenge. Well, actually no. I wouldn't draw in books that are not mine if I've not been specifically asked for, and I wouldn't draw in rare old books, period, even if asked. Since 2021, I've had a lot of ups and downs, like a lot of us, I think, and I stopped reading and drawing in books altogether for a while, so I only have drawn into my Bridgerton 1, 2, 3 and most of 4, and here are all the drawings I did so far. Now I'm back at it, and recently I've read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Riches from Sangu Mandana, which is the book I'm drawing in right now. And even if I'm only a few drawings into it, I can honestly say that it will be my favorite books I've ever illustrated and the one I will draw the most in. I don't know exactly what it is about this book, but there are just too many wholesome details to draw in it. The last drawing I'm going to do in this video is the perfect example. Also, I really highly recommend this book, especially in this time of year. I'll get back to the question about my drawing getting in the way of the writing just later. For now, the next question is, do you go straight in with pen or do you plan it out first with pencil or sketches? I love the idea of drawing in my books, but I'm not great at drawing, haha. I'm sure you are. But yes, I always use pencil first, even for the most simple drawings of all. It always allows me to make a few changes before committing to it. For example, when I drew the lavender I just drew before, I wanted to draw them with leaves, but I quickly realized that I didn't like it and I just didn't draw them when I was in the ink stage. It also allows me to replace elements if I want to. And that's it. The next question is about what pencils and pens do you use? Well, it depends on what I've got on me. I always start with graphite pencil and then ink with some sort of gel pen. For this specific book, I'm also using gold foil to illustrate magic. I like to keep my material simple so I can draw from anywhere. For example, the pencil I have now is from AliExpress and the gel pen is an unknown brand gel pen I've got from the dollar store. The next question came from Instagram from Dominique Chelon. I actually don't know how to pronounce it, even if I'm French, but she's the writer of a book I've illustrated. Because of my drawings in my books, she found me on the internet and asked me to illustrate her book, and I'm really proud of that work. So, thank you. Her question in French is, est-ce qu'on peut encore lire le livre après ou est-ce fait exprès? C'est-à-dire que pour le dessin. So she's asking me if we can still read the book after, or is my book just for my drawings? So, not to get in the way of the text is actually the most important rule I impose myself, and that's why I chose this style of drawings. Since they are only made of thin lines of ink, it never blacks out the text. The only time I did black out the text was for the phone drawing I just did, and I rewrote the blacked out word in white and voila. I always make sure we can still read the books. I know it may not seem that way sometimes, but the human brain is pretty amazing and it can reconstruct words and sentences based on logic. I never had any problem rereading under my drawings, and it doesn't even slow down my reading pace. The next question is there any books you regret drawing in? And no, I don't regret drawing in any of my books. Some people might despise me for drawing in books, but I don't see it that way. I love my book drawings and I love my books I've drawn in. They are just special to me. So no, I don't have any regrets about my drawings, but I will say this. I have drawings that I do not like. I don't regret them, but I could live without them. Here is a compilation of the drawings I wouldn't do given the chance. And the first place goes to this one. Like I said, I didn't want to draw faces, but I did. And I did that in that weird one-line thing. So now I have faces and a drawing I don't like that doesn't go with the whole vibe and the style of drawing of that book. The others, they're not bad, but they're just meh. And now, just to balance that out, here are my favorite drawings so far. And that concludes this video. I hope you found it informative and enjoyed watching how I draw in my books. I'm sorry I've lost the use of my nose during this recording, so now I speak weirdly. So sorry for that. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of my book drawings, as I'll be sharing a lot of them in my shorts. Okay, take care, bye bye, and see you in the next video.